Men who gave up on dating. What happened? Story 1. I just lived the single life. I failed in the relationships I had a real chance with due to my myriad of mental issues I now work to manage. Issue is, I am getting old, and the dating pool just shrinks fast after a certain age, so now I just retired from trying while working on keeping my mental problems from controlling my life. In a way, it is liberating. I don't have to try for anyone except myself, so anything I put real effort into is solely for my own enjoyment. Story 2. You know how you go look at job ads, and you'll often see a bunch of postings for jobs that require master's degrees, an exhaustive interview process, and then always turn around and offer minimum wage? That's kind of what dating feels like these days. I feel like there's a certain atmosphere of bitterness and low-level hostility between single people in their 30s. After years of effort with no reward, I've decided that I'm done. Story 3. I haven't necessarily given up forever, but after getting out of a relationship last year, I decided to take some time to work on myself. No dating apps and no effort put forth to meet anyone. Since then, I've quit smoking candy, curbed my drinking to only on weekends, lost 10 pounds, increased my level of fitness, took a writing class, and was able to save enough money to backpack through Europe for 2 weeks. I leave next month. I'm definitely in a way better state of mind now, but I still don't want to start dating. Sure, the loneliness and lack of intimacy get to me at times, but overall I've really been enjoying the single life. Story 4. Where to start? The constant ghosting, expectations to keep a conversation going when getting barely more than a few words in replies, the endless bots and scammers on dating apps. I just found myself getting incredibly jaded about everything surrounding dating over the last 10 plus years. In the end, I just stopped trying. Saw how bitter and miserable the whole process was making me when the apps are shadow banning and going 6+ months without a single match, then magically getting 5+ after being inactive for a few months. Old school methods don't help much either when you live like a hermit and gotten so used to doing everything on your own. Story 5. Honestly, because I have the worst luck with women. I know for a fact that there are amazing, intelligent, down-to-earth women in the world. They're just not attracted to me. The women who are attracted to me are the exact opposite. For instance, I recently ended things with a woman who I'd been seeing for about 2 months now because she told me I wasn't enough. The fact that I don't use the N-word in conversation, the fact that I don't sag my pants, and because one of my biggest hobbies is reading, that makes me the whitest guy she's ever met. That is a level of ignorance I am not prepared to deal with, and also was the final straw for my dating life. Story 6. Dating is just emotionally traumatizing lately. I matched with this girl who lived out of state, but there was an instant connection. We texted and called for hours every single day for 2.5 months. She even FaceTimed, introduced me to her best friends. One day, she just unadds me from Snapchat and starts slowly ghosting me. When I asked if she was okay, she sends me a "we should just be friends" days later. I really fell for this girl, and she was supposedly falling for me too. And that wasn't even the first time something like that has happened. IDK if I can keep doing this, boys. Story 7. No time or energy, honestly. But I am a mid-30s guy who lives with his parents, so it's more of a 5050 scenario in my case, haha. Honestly, though, I don't think I will pair off again unless I meet the type of person that I've never met in my life. And TBH, if I did meet that type of person, I'm sure they would want fudge all to do with me anyway. I just want to make a good living now and buy myself some land in the country and spend what money I make traveling. Story 8. I just don't care anymore, and I'm too tired to put up with all the expectations and nonsense. I can't be arsed waiting for 8 months for the woman to get comfortable enough to start showing her true colors. I won't put up with being expected to be a traditional yet modern man and a feminist who pays all the bills and holds doors open and reads minds and never oversteps the mark and blah blah blah. Just give me a woman that treats me with the same consideration and respect that she expects to be treated with, or give me my freedom. I'm done jumping through flipping hoops. Story 9. Every woman I ever dated and my ex-wife tried to change me to what they wanted me to be. My last girlfriend demanded I change my job and career because it didn't fit her needs. I was a CBEF when we started dating and told her up front the hours I worked. She was fine at first, then changed her mind after months and said I needed to change shifts. Not possible. Change jobs. Best paying job with benefits I ever had. Of change careers to suit her needs. Broke up shortly after and have had no interest in dating ever since. That was 13 years ago, and I have never been happier or more at peace with life than I have since then. If I found someone who wanted me, as is, and didn't want to mold me into what they want me to be, I would consider it. If not, I'd rather have a happy life with my dogs than a miserable one with women like that. Story 10. Dating is savagely judgmental, and I've got better things to do with my time. I was in long-term relationship throughout my 20s, which was great, but it ended a couple of years back. I was completely out of the loop when it came to dating soon afterwards, but since trying again, I've found that most people around my age, early 30s, have very unrealistic and uncompromising dating standards, which I think stems from social media style dating. On paper, I've been told, at least from friends, that I should be a bit of catch, due to having my life in order, good job prospects, and that I'm fairly good-looking and well-grounded. I get the sense there is a somewhat hyper box-ticking exercise, which requires you to get a solid 9 out of 10 score on, from the women I've dated in recent years anyways. Otherwise, you might as well go pass away in hole somewhere, due to being inadequate. I've spoken with male and female friends, the latter of which, more often than not, deal with far worse, who have echoed a similar sentiment, and from their experiences, this sense of being considered not good enough ever really affected their mental well-being. I figured after a year or so of trying that I simply couldn't be arsed with actively trying to date anymore. If you want a millionaire in the making, who happens to also look like George Clooney, then you should move to Hollywood and try to find some. Otherwise, live in the real world. Story 11. I'm a divorced single dad with 2 teens. I have %100 custody. I have no interest in dating. A. It's extra money. B. It's extra time. C. I'd rather concentrate on my kids. D. I've been married once and that was enough. After 13 years of marriage, I never want to do that again. Getting divorced was like a breath of fresh air in my life. I no longer have a boss at home. The idea of dating is absolutely unattractive to me now. I have not had a single date since my divorce 5 years ago, and I plan never to date again. Story 12. It's ironic, because I just had quit dating yesterday after coming to a realization trying to date for 6 years straight. I used to be essentially obsessed with trying to get a girlfriend because I've been alone most of my life, and I never really had anyone to be around. Growing up, I was very extroverted and loved talking to people, but no one ever talked to me back. I was so uncared about growing up that I wasn't even bullied because no one would ever give me the time of day just to speak to me. Cause of this, I've never had that loneliness in my heart filled, and by the time I was an adult, I was convinced the reason I felt like this is because I didn't have a girlfriend, and if I had one, I would be happy, and the hole in my heart filled. So for years, I essentially starting to work on my self-appearance, lost 60 pounds, cared about my hygiene, the way I looked and dressed, got contacts, and a bunch of other things I can honestly write a book about. And while improving my appearance has improved my success, I was extremely convinced I must be rejected cause of my looks, and I'm ugly, and that's why I don't got a GF. That's what I believed for the longest time, and was ignoring others telling me otherwise. Ultimately, I came to recently realize 2 things. First of all, I don't really want to date. I just am lonely and convinced myself that getting a girlfriend would be the answer instead of finding hobbies and passions and having friends. Secondly, my looks wasn't the reason why. It wasn't because I was ugly, but because growing up I was alone and no one wanted to talk to me. I never developed the social skills needed that would allow me to understood the idea, the pill that everyone takes, which is essentially enjoying having friends and a social life and enjoying hobbies and interests you enjoy. The idea of going to a bar and having a drink with someone, going with your friends to concerts, all these things and activities people do each other were alien to me, and to a lot of other people similar in my situation. And people like us never realized that was the reason why we were single and so alone. People like us assume we must be ugly and that's why we don't have a girlfriend, when in reality we haven't taken the pill everyone takes growing up, which is enjoying having friends and an active social life and hanging out with people you enjoy. People who tend to be lonely never get to experience that, so they don't even know it exists, and don't know that's why they're single. People like us just assume we are ugly and stuff. As I've grown up, I've come to have full awareness of my situation, and I understand now the issue. I've quit dating, and now I'm simply trying to find passions and hobbies I'm interested in, and make some friends along the way. Now I'm content, and understand that's what I want and need in my life, and not having a girlfriend is fine, and you can find happiness from other things. Hope this message can help. I'm blessed I've come to realize this thing that most humans realize, because most people in my situation don't. And I've only come to realize this cause of the many, many people who've helped me see this way, as I could have easily found myself in an echo chamber where people would share my viewpoints. But because I was pretty open about my experiences on the internet, many, many people for years helped show me the way. And as I've grown older and mature, I've come to finally realize they were right and how stupid I was. Without them, I would have never understood this. I hope you can come to realize what I have, and anyone else who reads what I posted above as well. Thanks. Story 13. Spoke with some ladies, but I found something each time that made me think, yeah, this isn't gonna work out. Lately, I don't even speak with anyone, let alone dating. I've been feeling like I'm too heavy to handle myself, so I don't expect anyone else to carry it. And let's be real, no one is going to be willing to handle someone that can't even handle himself. So I'm dealing with that, or trying to deal with that, I don't really know. Mental problems aside, I don't feel like I have a chance in dating world either. I mean, I'm a mid-looking guy at best, and I'm a bit more emotional person rather than those cold guys, which is a turn-off, I guess. So I basically eliminate myself from the dating pool, lol. Basically, when I felt I'm okay to date, it didn't work out. Now, I'm not in a state to date anyone due to my mental health at the moment, and I guess I'm not really a desirable guy anyway. Story 14. I'm a 40-year traditionally attractive and fit, high-earning, over 6-foot man. I generally do well in dating if I try, but I've mostly given up. I'm off the apps and not actively looking in real life either. But I'm still open to meeting someone, but honestly, 2023 dating culture is exhausting. While I can understand women have had endless experiences with bad men, there are so many women bringing that baggage to first dates. As a man, a first date in 2023 feels like a sit-down with the district attorney who suspects you of murder. I get it. There are a lot of bad guys, but it is not really that fun going on a first or second date anymore. I also love solitude in my life in general, so I'm very happy with the prospect of living a quiet life mostly alone. I share custody of my teenage daughter. Perhaps I'll meet someone who is a good fit, and I'm open to it, but the current dating culture is toxic ASF, so I stay out of it. Story 15. I've not given up. I'm simply enjoying being single for a while until I'm ready to try again. I wasted too many years being codependent and hopping from one relationship to another. Also, nowadays with dating, it's a variant of the same thing. We start talking, exchange phone numbers. First text I get is her asking me for money to spend on really basic peach things, like a nail appointment, or money for clothes, shoes, before we've even planned to go out for a date. I make my intentions perfectly 100% clear from the get-go. And the entire time, the girl I'd be talking to is lying. She wouldn't be looking for something, she just wants a sugar daddy without the sugar. Just some moron to give her money just because we were talking, then she'd claim I was wasting her time, and I'd reply back that, LOL, you wasted mine too. Good luck pulling your scam with some other ruse. Either this, or it's some catfish pretending to just want to be friends when really they're just as fake as the rest of them. Not dating related, I'm just still incredibly hurt by this one, but I thought I made a friend through all that chaos. And yet when the time came for us to hang out, she acted like I didn't even give her gas money and never actually came out to hang out with me. She flipping lied to me and tried gaslighting me into thinking it was my fault. She didn't get the gas money when she was the one who told me where to send it. I told her I didn't want to be friends if she couldn't be honest with me. And she tried gaslighting and manipulating me more into thinking it was a me issue. I lolled at her, blocked her, and deleted her off any social media platform. Fudge fake people, both friends and potential lovers. Like, I understand the hustle. I do. But holy fudge, when you make yourself appear like you're trying to find something genuine only to turn around and be completely different. Yeah, that's a no from me, dog. I'm happy being single. I'm happy not wasting my own time on assholes who only want me to give them attention and money and keep everything else at a 5-foot distance. Story 16. My last girlfriend tried to run me over with her car. When I ghosted on her, she stalked me on social media and hacked my stuff for like a year. Now I do not use either one. No social media, no psycho females. The girl before that, her ex-boyfriend came to my house and set my car on fire. So crazy ex-boyfriends are another reason. Only skanky losers are attracted to me. I would rather be alone than to have to listen to some obnoxious tramp. Story 17. Brother has given up. He's 34, and his reasoning is that his only real matches are single mothers. All the others are in it for free food, drink, social media, following OnlyFans. I really feel for him. He's not super confident to chase women everywhere he goes, and the consensus he gets is that women aren't looking for dates outside of dating apps where they can vet the talent pool. My personal experience of many single female friends shows dating via apps is a piece of cake. They get lots of matches, social media stalk those matches, and then off they go dating the same 5% of men that all the other single women are dating too. Looking from the outside in, I'm so relieved and happy that I met my someone early on. Story 18. I'm once divorced and once widowed in that order. My second wife passed away 10 years ago. I tried dating back in 2016 for about 6 months and it never went anywhere. I've come to realize that that part of me passed away when my wife did. I have zero tolerance for emotional games or drama. I don't really have time or space in my life anymore for someone else. I'd rather just be alone. Also, having been divorced and widowed, the only option left for me is to have the third wife terminate me for the insurance money. Joke's on her, I don't have any. Story 19. One lied, which landed me in jail. 24 hours later, the truth came out. I was released with all charges dropped, and she's the one who ended up standing before a judge with a criminal record. The second one tried keeping my kid from me. I nearly bankrupted myself when I was forced to ignore my student loan payments because I was too busy racking up lawyer fees in an ugly custody battle. The third one simply just broke my heart. Broke up with me, wanted me back, broke up again, wanted me back. I'd have done anything for that woman, so like an idiot I always went back. That's 3 strikes! I'm out! Fudge off, don't talk to me, I'm done. Story 20. I think some people are meant to be alone. I'm not saying that in a feel sorry for me kind of way. I genuinely feel that way about myself. I'm not happy or unhappy being alone. It kind of just is what it is. I have dated, been married, gone through divorce, dated some more, and now I'm alone. I don't really have interest in dating, and I have no resentments. I'm not an incel or whatever. I just don't really think I want to deal with someone on that level ever again. It's funny. I have this coworker who I hang out with after work sometimes, and we're good friends. I can tell she's into me, but anytime I allow my mind to go there, I'm like, why fudge all this up? This what we have is fun. The workplace banter, the friendship, and all of it. Why fudge all that up and turn it into something complicated? Story 21. For me, it was more of a hiatus. I had a fiancée who was the love of my life for several years, until one day she passed. That really destroyed me and led me to make a lot of stupid decisions. I dated other women, but it was used either as a piggy bank or as a prop. Couple that with a crappy diet, and I went from 200 pounds to 370, plus the fun of male pattern baldness. In 2018, after my best friend got married, I saw myself in their photos and came to the conclusion that I gotta get my cow together. So I've been working out and trying to get over a lot of troubles I had internalized. COVID and my dad's failing health death have made things difficult as well. But I've lost over 150 pounds and have finally started seeing someone seriously. Story 23. I live in a relatively small rural town. I don't have an issue getting a date. I've been on a few recently. What I can't stand is how nearly half of these ladies seem to have children. I'm in my mid-20s, says. Or they just don't take care of themselves and expect to be entertained. On top of that, I feel like a lot of the conversations are one-sided. Some folks are just so consumed by watching the next show or buying the next thing that it completely erodes any personality there. I want to hear about goals and hobbies. What gets someone excited to live, you know? Lastly, I'll talk about the white elephant in the room. As a guy, I'm flipping scared to make any kind of advance. I'm not even talking close relationship. I'm dead-ass talking hand-holding and cow. I know of 2 friends who got accused of being creeps, and their lives got absolutely ruined. There's absolutely no way as a guy that anyone would think, wow, I've known this man all my life and he'd never do that. Is more along the lines of, wow, I've known this man all my life and never knew he was a creep. A good buddy of mine had lots of intimacy with a girl, and she was going to move in with him and his wife. Swingers. Then out of the blue, she decided that at some point it was all assault and destroyed this man's life. She went back to the courthouse and told the judge after a year that she lied because her parents called her a worker after they heard of her plans to live. The case was dismissed, but now the poor guy is ostracized by the community. The risk is not worth the reward. I'm sure the right one is out there, but oh no, I am so tired of talking to wallflowers with baggage and the potential to ruin my life on a whim. Story 24. I had an awful experience with a woman who constantly felt the need to make me feel bad about my body, where I am in life, and my hobbies while we were in a relationship and living together. In addition to her going behind my back and practically cheating, it made me reflect on how often I used to let people who don't respect me or my time into my life. I've been on a couple dates since then, and my ex was definitely a special case, as in most women and strangers in general are more kind to me, but I can't help shake the feeling that I'm only wanted when it's convenient for the other person, even if I know that's not true. Story 25. Because she's not yours, it's just your turn. Every single straight woman in her peak, 18, 30, out there is public property, which means a whole bunch of guys most likely had the same intentions you do. And you do know that social media has increased the competition for men 100-fold in such a short space of time. We aren't competing with 5 different men in our tribe or 50 in our town, but potentially thousands, depending on how popular she is on social media. Simple fact is dating has completely changed. Women get to pick and choose from a huge pool of guys. There will always be someone better than you, of course, but social media has made it easier for your love interest to find that guy. So that's why I'm done with dating and social media. It's too much effort. I have other cow to focus on. Story 26. Women get access to functionally hundreds of candidates through being approached in real life, social media, and dating apps especially. This leads to more requirements and competition amongst men, while women can put in less and less effort. I obviously don't like it, but it is what it is. It feels like approaching in real life has become harder because there's less social situations in which it is appropriate, too. Prices get higher for everything, so there's a financial component, too. As someone who's not interested in marriage or children at all, it's just a matter of the juice not being worth the squeeze. The amount of investment required to compete with hundreds of guys on Tinder is too high for the payoff. Story 27. It feels like women have all the choice. I'm not the braggart to throw my resume on the top of the pile and try to show off. My inability to trust people's ability to pair bond. There is a type of person who frequently uses online dating, and I don't want a part of that. I know I'm a great catch and deserve someone great as well, but the process is the biggest turnoff. Also, I'm not convinced the heartache is worth it. Story 28. A few reasons. My last relationship sucked, and I don't want to risk putting myself through that again. I haven't found anyone recently that I've been genuinely attracted to. I'll have a passing interest in someone, but it'll fade pretty quickly. I don't want to enter a relationship with someone who I can't see being with long term. My school is very socioeconomically different from the area I grew up in. I don't really feel comfortable pursuing relationships with people who are significantly more wealthy, privileged than I am. It just seems like too much of a barrier to overcome. I don't have as much confidence in myself as I used to. While I've lost weight, gotten better hair, a series of rejections in the past has made my confidence diminish quite significantly. The third point plays a big part in this as well. My parents' recent divorce, as well as the state of my dad's parents' marriage, has made me pessimistic about my ability to have a marriage family in the future. While I actively try to not be like my father and grandfather, I worry that I'll end up becoming like them someday. I haven't given up on dating per se, but I'm not actively making an effort either. I'm just apathetic ATM. Story 29. Haven't given up, but I think my standards are way too high. When I was young, my first relationship ended because I had a job in high school and wasn't able to see her as much as she wanted, so she dumped me. Next girl, which I met at work in high school, was fun and wild, but she kept telling me about her ex. Turns out he wasn't an ex, and she lied to me, telling me she was cheating on him with me. Felt so used. Dumped her. After that, the next girl I dated wanted to make her ex jealous. Found out after the fact. And when that happened, we broke up. Next one, I asked for her number, as she was someone I knew when I was younger, and it was great at first until she told me she really was only wanting to use that as an excuse to become friends. I've had a lot of bad first dates. Now I haven't dated anyone since the pandemic. It seems hard now since I'm older and don't want to date anyone with kids. Personal preference. But I've been hurt so many times by women. I'm not the best looking. Hell, not even close, but my personality is good. I just have to protect myself as I keep getting more and more picky with each relationship, feeling like they want something from me and not me, if that makes any sense. It's frustrating, but people who enter my life and want to date me for one reason or another, I just don't have a spark with them, so I don't know. Online dating for a mid-looking guy. Yeah, no one responds to me, so I don't waste my time. Story 30. got more energy to do what I love. Flying drones, fishing with my friends, started taking sailing classes. Spending time with my favorite little niece, and soon I got a favorite nephew as well. I hate myself a lot less. Got tired that online dating got me nowhere. Am not incredibly ugly. No candy, use nothing other than a little round is my sin. Otherwise healthy and active. Maybe a little boring at times. But that is how I am. I'm a bit introverted, so flirting while I am out is a big no-go. Only party with friends to spend time with them beside. Tired of the look you get when you try. You know the look. The stare from toe to head and see their face just filled with disgust. Or just the instant talk to the hand wave beside the area I live. There are nearly no women living. Saw a count that said there were 4 men per 1 woman in the age from 16, 32 in my area. And the trend is only getting worse. So when I finally find one that looks interesting, she's either married or has kids already while being with someone, mainly because there are no greater education for women in my area. So they all leave for a better future in the bigger city. But next to no one comes back when they are done. Now I'm 31, single on the 6th year. Not even had a single coffee meeting even though I have tried. Gave up about 2 years ago. Story 31. It's different when you're young, and you're looking to build a life with someone. When you're older and established, you're inviting someone into your life. And most people you're inviting into your life are also older and established. And it's not really so much where someone's contributing to your life, but rather 2 people trying to fit someone else into their life. My friend said it best as a long-term single woman with an established career and a really nice home. Why would I invite someone to live in my home where they would think they have a right to make changes to it, to make it their home too? It sort of spreads through all aspects of life. Story 32. Not worth it. Had close relationship with a lot of women. It was kind of fun. But most of the pleasure for me was just the validation of a woman wanting to fudge me rather than the close relationship itself. I can get myself off better with a lot less hassle. Not interested in long-term relationships. That's what friends are for and much more loyal. Marriage. And definitely not kids. Used to get a decent amount of matches on apps. Now I get almost 0 with the same pics. The few dates I go on, I feel 0 interest in even being there and feel like we're both just wasting our time. No idea how TF to meet women outside of that in an appropriate setting. Plus, my life is pretty awesome right now and I don't need any flipping drama in it. Story 33. Chicks are all so fat now, it's such a tiny amount that are dateable. It takes too long to get in a relationship, and I always say the wrong thing and lose the... Women are so annoying to me when they are talking, but they are amazing in bed. Plus, it isn't worth the risk that you might get one pregnant. The rules laws are too skewed in their favor. You could end up linked to one forever and having to pay a ton of money. Story 34. I've already been through a divorce, pulled myself together, found a person I was actually excited to have a future with only for them to run away across the country with their guy best friend they told me not to worry about. My life has fallen apart in the past 1.5 years. Got diagnosed with treatment-resistant major depressive disorder and anxiety. I've tried getting back out there, but always ruin it from self-sabotage and not being able to trust or feel secure in a relationship anymore. My thought is everyone says they love you until they don't anymore. Every breakup makes me feel worse about myself. Everything culminated in an inpatient stay in a mental hospital, which still couldn't fix me. At this point, attempting to be in another relationship just seems self-destructive. Thanks a lot, Eurode_Dandelion. Story 35. Ex dumped me because I went away to a military school. 16 weeks. She couldn't handle me being gone, despite me offering to fly her down once a month on my dime. This answer to me is Seuss, but I'm over that. What really broke me is online dating apps. Non-stop bots, catfish, OnlyFans, and sugar baby solicitations. Then if you find someone real, you have an entire shopping list of mandatory expectations to get through, and then one misstep in the entire process, and you get ghosted or stood up. Finally, after making through a couple dates, she's still, well, I really like him and he treats me well. But X messaged me and he's 6'2", not 5'10", so I guess I'm on to X. Story 36. I invested 26 years into 2 nearly back-to-back relationships. I've had enough. I'm intelligent and charming and talented, but I'm not ambitious, so ultimately I'm a disappointment to women who look at my abilities as a potential pathway to opulence. I feel like a horse that likes to run for the sake of feeling the wind in my hair, but when you want to put me in a race, I turn into a jackass and kick. I never wanted fame. I never wanted to live very far beyond my means. I just wanted love, acceptance, and loyalty. What I got instead was indignant attempts to manipulate me into forms of success I never wanted. If I can't find someone who actually appreciates me for who I am and not for what they think they can poke and prod me into becoming, I would rather stay single. I'm not a fixer-upper or project. I'm a whole peach person. Story 37. First, I'm not a people person. Sure, I have friends and I love meeting up with them, but I don't need people constantly in my life. In fact, I prefer to be left alone most of the time. Second, the dating pool gets smaller. People settle. Young women don't necessarily want to date a middle-aged man or are trying to live a life full of meaning purpose, while I have fully embraced that not everything needs mean anything. I refuse to date single mothers. Most of them are not interested in finding a partner, but rather a babysit who take over and help their little gremlins. I'm also selfish in the sense that I don't want to plan my entire life around a child that is not mine. Third, it just never worked out. There was always a shortage of something. Time, attention, trust, chemistry? Strangely enough abroad, I have no problem meeting people, but at home it seems like I couldn't get a glass of water if I were on fire. Don't get me wrong, I still like meeting up for coffee and making a strange woman laugh. But the whole process of dating has stopped being fun a long time ago. Story 38. At 57, it's useless. Dating apps suck money from you. Meeting people while out and about don't work either. Most everyone is already either with someone or so screwed up that they bring what happened to them in past relationships with them, and then start accusing me of what their ex did to them. My last one passed away from ball cancer. After she passed away, I found out she had been sleeping around on me since we got together 9 years ago. And because of her nonsense, I'm about to be homeless. Just ain't worth it anymore. Story 39. I feel like relationships with women. They gain so much and I gain so little. I'm a pretty high earner, so I would probably out-earn a partner and end up financially supporting them, at least partially. They would want to live in my home. I eat a somewhat expensive diet, healthy fresh food from an expensive grocery store. I also have expensive travel hobby habits and would need to pay for them to come with me. Basically, it would just be a massive lifestyle upgrade for her and a liability for me. Sure, I'd get some companionship, but that's really it. Lacking companionship isn't such a big deal.